What it is, y'all? It is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you today with more Danmachi. Now, today we're going to be talking about the two rerun banners that are actually incoming later on this evening. And this is kind of an important topic because, well, I feel pretty strongly that if you were going to spend on a banner instead of saving, these would be good ones to spend on. But that said, let's talk about each unit and really make an educated decision based on that. Because I feel like, as much as I say that, I really feel like saving is important right now. So first, let's get into the banners, and then let's talk about that portion of this, alright? First things first, this is banner number 1, and as we all know, that water Lefiya is insane. We've seen her in action before, and it's no magic, no mystery. This unit is wild. Now, as I said in yesterday's video, my current knowledge is that this unit is not getting a rebalance, which is unfortunate because she could use a little bit more HP, and if I'm honest, a tiny bit more magic to really keep up. She could use magic, I mean, doesn't even need magic, but I would love to get just another 100 out of her. You know, I really want to get over that 2K mark with her at this point. But that's a little on the selfish side. She does need some HP, but all magic units tend to. She really could use some endurance. 100 endurance would do her wonders. 200 would almost be just like perfect. Dex is fine. Agility could use a small buff. But if I'm honest, she's proven to still hold her own a year later. So, you know, all that is really just kind of asking for a lot, honestly. It's not necessary, it's not mandatory, it is literally just what I'd like to see out of these units in 2021. Now, it is worth noting she is a plant killer, and also big shout out to my man Yoko who made actually these cells. You guys have been asking me for some of this information on screen, so you'll get that here in a moment. Now, it is worth noting up there at the top, she's not time limited. So, you will, if you pull her, be able to use Prism Bonds to upgrade her, and I think that's really, really, really important to note, because we are going to come into some time-limited units shortly, so don't lose your shirt on units that are not time-limited. Just throwing that out there as well. Now, skills. This is what you guys have always said you wanted to see. Every skill is right here, and if you join the Discord, I believe we're actually going to drop these in the guides, so make sure that you join the Discord if you haven't already. My Discord is the Crude Suspension Bridge to Venezuela. We do also partner with the Stardust Garden, so you can join either one of our Discords. The Crude Suspension Bridge, we're going to have all this data, and I'll even see, maybe we can drop this over in Stardust as well, because this is just information that would help the community in general. So, heck, join both the Discords. It doesn't hurt to have a deeper well of information, because frankly, you know, the more info you can get on this game, just the better. Any game, really, just the better. So, skills. Now, I'm always going to start with skill 1. Everything always puts SA at the top, but I like to talk skill 1, skill 2, skill 3, then SA. So, skill 1 is a self 20% MP heal, magic dex and water attack damage 60%, and agility down 30% for 4 turns. Now, that is self. That's weird, but it's aight. Skill 2, Frozen Solid. Foe singular, fast, high water magic attack with magic resistance, water resistance down 30%. I would love to see that 35% personally, but I'm going to be honest, she still hits like a truck. She doesn't really need it, but it would be really nice to see. Just saying. Just saying. Right, Flyer, get on that for me? That'd be great. Skill 3, this is where she just gets insane. Super water magic attack, 60% per each self magic buff skill, and water attack damage buffs will be removed afterwards, except assist skills. So, basically you do skill 3, and then you've got to rebuff skill 1, I'm sorry. And notice that skill 3 is a 201 MP cost. So, after you do skill 3, you really need the MP restoration anyway, so you do skill 3, then skill 1, restore MP, get back, skill 3, skill 1, and you'll notice that she will do insane damage after that. This unit is a record buster unit, also really good for Familia events, 7 zone, anything that requires water units. You will be glad that you pulled her. and we've got a lot of water incoming here, so I really feel like the next Record Buster probably will prefer water units. Just saying, they usually tend to follow that trend. So since we're just getting these units in, we're expecting a new Record Buster next week. Plan accordingly. Now, I already have this unit max level broken. I can promise you she is an absolute beast when it comes to things like Record Buster. So, my opinion, I think she's fantastic. Should you summon? Well, let's continue with the banners and make that decision here in a moment. Now, her essay. Very similar to skill 3, Ultra instead of Super, water magic attack damage, plus 70% per magic buff, and water resistance now down 50% for 2 turns. Remember, because that's 2 turns, you can do this as a combo essay with Haruhime, and then next turn replicate it. So just makes that even stronger, even more crazy. This unit is pretty wild, and I do like her a lot. I cannot tell you how much this unit really rules. Now, passive skill. Water Manifestation, fire resistance plus 25%. When countering regular attack, blah, 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 becomes magic attack with water element. That's pretty standard this day and age. Critical damage plus 20%. Damage plus 20% upon penetration. Magic agility and dex plus 25%. And she is a plant killer, so she's going to get 50% towards plants. Which, hilarious that a water unit is a plant killer. Usually that brings plants to life. Just saying. But, really, really fantastic unit. But there are 2 other units on the banner, and so it is worth notating these units when we're making our final decision. Alright? Elfie is a unit that I actually have, and I have enough bonds to max Limit Breaker, and I don't think I've put more than 1 bond into her. I just don't think I've ever found her useful, if I'm entirely honest. But, that's me. Maybe you have a use for her. I personally just never found her terribly useful. First of all, her HP leaves a lot to be desired. But that's, again, magic units. I really want more HP in my magic units. Magic units just tend to be squishy overall. MP is pretty good, and her magic attack is respectable, albeit a little behind the times now. Endurance, once again, pretty low, though agility is really good. This is when, I believe this is about the time that we started seeing those 1,000+ agility units, so that actually is really, really, really good, but the endurance stat does leave a bit to be desired, if I'm honest. Now, notice once again, not time limited. All these units are not time limited, and she is a plant killer, so you know what to expect here. Bam. Alright, skill 1. Inner Fire, 225 MP cost. This is rightfully a very expensive skill to get off because allies avoids KO ×1 only when HP is above or equal to 10%. If it drops below that, that is gone. But that if you take, like, you have 12% damage and somebody hits you with a killing blow, you could survive that killing blow with this. That's really, really, really important for a lot of events, frankly. But if I'm honest, we have other units that do this and do it better. So once again, I wouldn't get too excited about that. If you have Artie or someone like that, just all around better units. Personally, my opinion. Strength, magic, and fire attack damage plus 25% for all allies. Now, once again, I do prefer self buffs because those are much bigger numbers. If you have units that don't buff at all, it'll help, but it's not the end of the world. And I'm going to be honest right now, with strength, magic, and fire damage, we have that Aisha that does 100% fire attack damage. We have Haruhime that does 100% strength and magic. This is basically like a holdover until you can get those essays off. It really isn't the end of the world. At this point in time in the game, I really feel like these skills are just wasted. My opinion, once again. There are times that they've been useful, but really you just try as quickly as possible to override that with the correct skill so your units can really shine. For that reason, I just feel like this is a wasted skill. I feel like this skill in this day and age of the game really means nothing, honestly. Because Artie does everything she does better. That strength, magic, and fire attack, or it's not everything. She does the KO better because she also gets a defensive buff on top of it. The 25% strength, magic, and fire attack damage is fairly useless in any kind of real-world scenario. rare situation in which you'd use that. But with her, the exception of that being with like War Game, if you're using like lead or someone like that, you could use her to buff lead, but you'd really want to make sure that her agility is up there, because I believe he's got actually more agility, and she would still kind of fail to beat him to the punch and get that buff out there, because that's kind of the point, is you'd want that buff a little bit before she actually attacks. So, or want that buff before he attacks, I should say. But neither here nor there. It's not the end of the world. It's not great. I just feel like it's a wasted skill. Personally, my opinion. Skill 2, Blazebringer. Foes. Super fire magic attack with temporary magic boost and ultra penetration rate. Foes 20% MP drain. That's a record buster, or sorry, war game skill, and I can frankly tell you I've never used it. I've never found a use for it. Usually most war game fights are done in 1 or 2 turns. Sometimes up to 3 or 4, but if you're going much past that, the point at which an MP drain would be useful, you might want a better team. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. Now, skill 3, foe singular high fire magic attack with temporary magic boost, ultra guard rate, and foe 15% MP drain. Skill 3 is single target skills are for PvE events, not PvP events. PvE events, you're never going to drain their MP. Why is this even a skill? Why is this a skill? It's silly and pointless. And this is one of those reasons that I say, Elfie, I have all the means to max limit breaker, and I've never done it. I just don't see the value in her. My opinion. A little bit of a rant, but my opinion. Femme Revere. Foes. Ultra fire magic attack. Temporary magic boost. Ultra on guard rate. The allies remove status debuffs. Could be handy in certain situations, but once again, if you're going for a war game build, which is about the only thing she's really remotely good for, and even then that's questionable. By the time you get that off, you should already have had somebody else remove the debuffs. You shouldn't be waiting until you get an SA to do it. Just saying. We got better units in the game for that. If she's the only unit you got, you probably hit the wrong banner. Or you just, you know, maybe you got unlucky with your pulls on the tickets or whatever, but once again, I feel like kind of a wasted unit, personally. I've never used her, never found a use for her. I see where she could have been useful back in the day, but even then I feel like so quickly she was just made irrelevant. So, my opinion. Feel free to differentiate in the comment section down below. If I'm wrong, tell me why I'm wrong, and make a good fight for Elfie, but I just feel like Elfie, rather useless. Now, the one thing I will say, someone brought up in yesterday's video, yes, if you do pull her, you do not have CP rewards, and she is a rare unit. I believe this is actually her only unit. So if you do pull her, that is one good thing about her. That's kind of gives this banner a little bit of shine. If you pull her, great, you can get her CP rewards, and CP rewards, as I've said in the past, can very easily and quickly replenish the iris that you used to summon on the banner. So maybe you pull her, maybe you get her CP rewards, great. Personally, me, I wouldn't chase her. I would wait until she drops in tickets, because in this time, we are waiting on a collab, we're waiting on some reruns, we're waiting on some other stuff. I don't think it's worth, guys. Personally, my opinion. Just in case, passives. Will of Fire. When countering, attacking, basically attacks with a magic fire attack when countering. Counter damage is 50%, which is actually really respectable. Wind resist 35%. Magic agility index 25%, and she's once again a plant killer. Let's move on. Adventurer Set Hestia. Adventurer Set Hestia is an interesting unit. I've found uses for her in the past, but let me make an argument here. But first, let me talk about what she's good at. And this is a unit that I think desperately needs a rebalance. Big time. Her HP should be way higher. She needs 1,000 HP to be useful at all. Her MP is good. Her dex is great. Her endurance, not so much. And her agility, I feel like she probably could use more agility for what she's really designed to do. Though, if I'm honest, she's really kind of designed to connect onto Lefiya and units like that. So I don't know if agility really is going to be that important. especially considering Lefiya does kind of debuff her own agility. But the biggest drawback here is physical attack and magic attack 303. That is so low. Now, it is going to get a lot better when you add CP and all that on there. That's a really low number on both of those. I would have hoped at this point in the game those would be closer to the 400, maybe even 450. But it is what it is. The devs, I guess, thus far, at least as far as we know, have not given her a rebalance. I'm really hoping they change their mind. Maybe they didn't mention it in yesterday's video, but that is where we're at right now. Now, allies. This is all allies. Critical rate, penetration rate, and counter rate, 10%. I think she's okay with that. I would love to see that go 15%, but I think she's all right. Self, 80% MP. That means whoever she's tied to, case in point, like I was talking about with Lefiya, she will give 80 MP per turn. So at the end of each turn, she's going to add 80 MP back into that pool. Not 80%, just flat 80 MP. Now, bear in mind, she gives 199 MP. So it's like giving that skill, or half of that skill, back every single turn. It changes the game very, very quickly. Case in point, I talked about Lefiya over here. And Shatter Solid is 200 MP with, basically with that skill, you're talking that almost replenishes that every 2 turns. So it's a good skill, a great skill. That only happens at max limit break, though. Below max limit break, level 60 and up, she is at 60 MP. And I'm going to be real, if you're using her below level 60, why? You're wasting your efforts. Then critical rate, penetration rate, counter rate go down to 7% below level, or from level 60 to 4 limit breaks. So not the end of the world. A unit you might use from time to time, but not a unit that you really want to chase, and a unit that, frankly, is starting to show her age, honestly, if I'm completely frank. That said, this banner, Lefiya, fantastic, great unit. If you pull her, you're going to love her. She's awesome. If you pull Elfie, you got CP rewards, congratulations, and you can earn back some of the Irish you spent fairly quickly. It is also worth noting that the 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th, literally every odd number draw is half Iris, and then every even number draw is guaranteed 4-star. So it is a very lucrative banner, and if you really want that Lefiya, it's not a bad banner to hit. You're talking 3,000 Iris to really drive this banner all the way home. That said, I would hope that maybe you get a Lefiya, have enough Prism Bonds or something like that, and then walk away with your head held high. That would be the best case scenario. Because remember, we've got collabs coming, and I'm expecting an AOT rerun, Attack on Titan rerun. That, I feel like, is the most logical rerun for them to run at the moment. If they do that, I'm expecting that within the next 3 to 4 weeks. So bear that in mind. Keep that in the back of your mind. You want to be saving Iris. You want to be saving Iris. I'm going to have a video coming out actually about that on Thursday regarding Iris and how much Iris you can accrue a month. Believe me, you want to start saving now. You really want to start saving now. Just saying. Now, that's only one banner. We actually have this banner, and I will personally maybe not be hitting this banner. I'm really hoping we get paid banners for Hephaestus, because that's who I really love out of this banner. The other 2 units kind of not so hot. Well, that actually is arguable, but they're not so great. They're really just not fantastic units. Let's start with eyes. Okay. Once again, as I said yesterday in yesterday's video, a physical unit with a magic level HP skill. I don't like that. She's going to be very squishy on your teams. Now, she has a really good use, and I've used her a lot, but not really the greatest unit out there, if I'm honest. Okay? Now, MP leaves a little bit to be desired, but it's not the end of the world. Physical attack is extremely high, extremely good. Endurance at 560 is very good. Dex is fantastic. Agility could be slightly better, but still a great agility stat. So all great unit all the way around. And non-time limited. So if you ever wanted to put bonds into her, you could do it. Now, me personally, I don't generally do that. And I feel like there's something missing. I'm going to pull her up here in the game because I thought I used her for another thing, but I'm not seeing this skill on her at the moment. So I'm wondering, because we did find out yesterday that Alicia's skills were not correct. So I'm just going to double check the work here. Not that I'm dogging on my man, because he does a really, really good job of putting these together. But just because, for the sake of being thorough on these videos, I do want to make sure that we cover all of our bases. So, new armed eyes. There we go. Nope. That might be gallant armor I'm thinking of. New armed eyes. Okay. So, no. He is correct. So, I'm thinking of gallant armor eyes. So, gallant armor eyes is the one that I use as a sack, not new armed. So, new armed eyes. Skill 1. Water enhanced. MP 47 cost. Self. Slow. Strength, agility, and water attack damage plus 60%. Remember, I love these self buffs. They're just always really good. Agility minus 30% once again for foes. Now, that slows down your foes. So, could be very handy, especially in Wargame. It's a good Wargame skill. But it is a slow skill. So, bear in mind that's going to happen late game. You're not winning any races with that skill. So, don't rely on it to be a turn 1 killer. You're basically taking a bunch of damage turn 1 and hoping that turn 2 you can kind of turn it back around if you're using that skill. Skill 2, Mirrored Steel. Foes, plural, fast high water physical attack with ultra encounter rate, removes agility and dex buffs except assist skills. Pretty straightforward. That could be really useful in Wargame. I would almost use that over the other one. But the fact that it's fast, you got to be winning the race, and her agility is really, really high. You'd probably would want to use that if she was not max level broken. Like, have her, like, +1, +2 tops on a team, and then do that. Because while those other units are to try to, like, win the race and get that out there, she's going to come in later on in those fast skills and remove it, so everybody else is now slowed down. So there is a tactic to that, but you don't want to maximum break the unit, because then that's going to ruin that's possibility. There are other units that are probably better than this one. Words are hard, but neither here nor there. That's a possible use for her, not one I think I would rely on personally. Skill 3, Sword Spike, foe singular, super water physical attack with temporary strength boost and ultra unguard rate. No percentage boost. Worthless, useless, crappy skill. Sorry, I can't sugarcoat that. I really, if I'm going to promote this, she's got to have a 30% minimum. I'd prefer 40%, but 30% minimum percentage boost on that third skill, and she has nothing. Just saying. Special. Her SA, Cold Steel Rush. Foes, plural, ultra water physical attack with temporary strength boost, high penetration rate, self, strength, agility, and water attack damage plus 80%. So that's actually really good skill right there. That's a fantastic skill. So all things considered, once she gets once she gets that skill off, then she's going to be hitting pretty respectably. But one thing to bear in mind, her skill 2 is a high water physical attack, not a super water physical attack. If it was a super water physical attack, that'd be great. You could use that like all the time. But once again, a unit that is definitely showing her age. Passives. Physical resist. Regular attack. Uncouple physical resist. Regular attack, a foe, blah, 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 when countering, removes physical resistance buffs. Interesting attack there. Really, she's built just to kind of like mess up Wargame, and I think she still has uses in Wargame because of that. But you'd really have to like let her counter and do her thing, and frankly accept the fact that she's a sack and she's going to die. You're literally sacrificing her turn 1 to kind of just like screw up their buff stack, and that's kind of about it. That's like her one thing. That's literally her one thing. Now, once again, she could be used as a DPS, but not a main DPS. She's going to be like your side unit. Like, cool, we've got our main DPS in 7th Zone or whatever, Familia Rush, AoE units, obviously. And she'll be like that unit on the side that's kind of hitting pretty good, but not amazing. So, just bear all that in mind. Counterattack damage plus 50%, so that'll actually go with the uncoupled resist. It'll be a good hit. Fire resistance plus 35%, which is really good because she'll be able to counteract lead in units like that. Strength, agility, and dex plus 25%. Physical resist and magic resist plus 15%. Like I said, a good wargame unit, but once again, if you max limit break her, you're kind of wasting her. And if you throw her out there in the wind, you're understanding that she's going to get taken out very early. She's a sacrifice. Let's move on. Dueling caster Alicia. And actually, I was correct in yesterday's video. We had some of her skills wrong, and I've got that corrected in this video. One thing that you can always tell the unit's going to be more of a support when they have a high strength and high magic skill. When you see that, you can say instantaneously this is going to be a support. Now, she has good endurance, great dex, and respectable agility, so not bad. HP really is atrocious, but magic units tend to have really low HP. Though that said, below 3,500 is really bad. Like, she's really squishy. So, just throwing that out there. Non-time limited again, and let's talk about her skills. Skill 1, this is the one we had wrong yesterday. Self. Fast, magic, agility, and water attack damage. Plus 30%. 30%. It's a self buff, but it's only 30%. That's atrocious. Allies. Damage received. Attack all and single targets minus 30%. Now that's very good. That's extremely good. That is, if you don't have a unit that does this, she's going to be a great sack unit. You're going to throw her on turn 1, turn 2, probably turn 2, because you're going to use, if you're going to use her as a sack, that means you're going to use Line in turn 1, use her in turn 2. She's going to be a very good defensive unit. That's a defensive sack. That's very good. You'll use that all the time. So if you get one of her, that's great. You have a use for her, fantastic. She's gone after turn 2. Turn 3, your DPS comes in, or Haruhime, or whoever. Don't chase this to completion. It's excuse me. It's a waste of your iris. Just saying. Skill 2, Azure Carve. Foes, plural, fast high water, magic attack with ultra encounter rate, remove strength and magic buffs. Now this could be useful in some situations, but because of her build, I don't think it's useful. I think it's a waste. You're going to use skill 1, and then you're going to get her out of the way. Skill 3 is also a garbage skill. High water magic attack with temporary magic boost and absolutely no percentage boost. What can I say? Another unit that's really showing her age. SA, ultra water magic attack with temporary magic boost, high penetration rate in foes, remove status buff except assist skills. That could be useful, but I'm going to be honest, there are better units out there that do more, quicker, and better. She's here for skill 1. She's just here for the second half of skill 1. That damage received, attack all and single target, that defensive buff, that's what she's here for. So basically, if you're paying attention, I did say that Elfie is actually pretty respectable for her skill 1. The defensive part of her skill 1. The offensive part of her skill 1 sucks. Alicia is really respectable for the defensive part of her skill 1. Are you noticing something? The arty that we got during the 3rd anniversary event literally is both of those skills on her skill 1. So if you lack arty, you can use these units. If you do not lack arty, If you have already, in other words, that's how the English language works, then there's no point. These units are worthless. Now, once again, I don't think there's another Alicia. Don't think there is one in the game yet. I think this is the only one we got. So if you get her, great, you got some CP rewards, that's not bad. But you should only get this unit if you're chasing the next unit. Now, before I get there, passives are Will of Water when countering. You basically counter with a magic water attack. Counter attack damage plus 50%. Fire resistance plus 35%. Magic agility and dex plus 25%. And physical and magic resist 15%. Basically carbon copy the other units. Now, if you get this unit, or you get New Armed Eyes, it's only because you're chasing Hephaestus. That's because Hephaestus is the most useful unit on this banner. Period. End of discussion. Max Limit Broken, which should be your goal. Allies magic 20%, fire and water attack damage 15%. If you are in the situation I'm in right now, and she's not max limit broken, magic plus 15%, fire and water attack damage plus 10%. I am going to go hard after this unit, but I really feel like she should get a paid banner, and when we do, I say paid banner, she should get an OnlyFans, and when we do, you better believe your old boy gonna be hitting that OnlyFans. Just saying. HP is 830, which could be better, but not the end of the world. MP is 196. Once again, very respectable. Not great, but respectable. The one thing you want to pay attention to, magic. 627. Great magic stat. If you have any fire or water magic units, case in point, you want her. Very simple, very straightforward. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the collab. I, in my heart of hearts, feel like we are coming up on... So first of all, we are coming up on the anniversary for the US version of the game. That is the end of next month, beginning of April. So when it comes to that, there's nothing really stopping them from running the collab or collab rerun during that time. I really feel like it makes sense to run the collab after the April Fool's event, which usually takes about a week, and it's just a very silly event. I really hope it's as good as ours was. Was it last year or the year before? When we had the little shooter, that was fantastic. I love that so much. So I think that was last year, in fact. So I really feel like this is a great time to go. These are not time limited. Maybe I should wait. If you're thinking about whaling for these units, then get these two that I discussed. Lefiya and Hephaestus, if you don't have them, great time too. That's why I said I'm not using my free-to-play Iris. I'm definitely going to be... And I know I said that about the last banners that I did, but notice I didn't MLB those units because I showed some restraint and I wanted to save some Iris for the upcoming banners. We're going to get a tail along with this. Use this as an opportunity to farm Iris and save. If you're going to do anything, hit their paid banners. Bundles that we'll probably get as well. Don't go crazy on these banners. That is my one warning. If you do a couple of summons, call it after that. Consider hoarding some Prism Bonds. Consider using the CPs that you get for Alicia and Elfie. And just be wise about this. Because once again, I feel like we're about 3 weeks out, max 4 weeks out, from an Attack on Titan rerun. I'm guessing there's the reason and my logic behind this is because Titan's really hype right now. Like, that anime is ending, and it's just in the best story that we've ever had. And let's be real. I'm not to digress too much, but it came from what was basically the equivalent of a stereotypical zombie story. Just the zombies are huge. To now this like geopolitical war, and it's really interesting. Like, the story is fantastic this season. So if you're sleeping on that series, A, go fix that. B, a game like this that arguably is taking a little bit of a hit since the anime has ended, really could use the hype of that collab. So if Right Flyer is wise, they will run the AOT collab before the anime ends, or maybe shortly after the anime ends. They gotta do it quick. They gotta jump on that bandwagon. That'll get a lot of new players into this game. A lot of new players into this game. And if you weren't here for the original rerun, or the original run of it, then you'll definitely want to collect those units. I never got the eyes, so I'm definitely gonna be after the eyes unit. And when we do these reruns, they always give us a third banner that has 2 brand new units, and those 2 brand new units stay good. Case in point, look at Katori from the Data Live event. There are no other Data Live units anybody uses ever. She's still good. So, just throwing that out there. That's something you want to consider. If you're going to hit these banners, don't go crazy. But I wouldn't be mad at you. But at the same rate, I am going to warn you. If you waste your Irish, you might be sad. Throw in that little speculation nugget at you. I'm out of voice. I'm going to go get a rest. Like, comment, share. I'll be back at you guys in the morning with the data mines. Though this is probably going to be released after that. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Both of them. Catch you all for the live stream tonight.